If we think about U.S. lamb quality grades, it's driven by three things, okay? They're not going to tell us how old they are, all right? But there's a big difference in value and eating quality between an old sheep and a young lamb. Big difference in eating quality and value. So this is a young lamb. And how we know that is that when this lamb was harvested, these front 2 feet here, what we call the trotters, they broke at this epiphyseal growth plate. If they wouldn't have broken there, if they would have broken and it would look like a spool or look like a jagged edge, then that would have come from an old sheep, which ultimately would be called mutton. Big difference in eating quality in those products. So that's one component to USDA quality grading. The other components is that we would look here within the flanks and see how much streaks of fat are within there. And this would be average choice flank streaking is what that would be. The amount of fat streaking you see within the flanks. It would be indicative of kind of what we see when we look directly at the marbling within the ribeye of a beef carcass, like we'll show you here in a second, okay? So those that have a little more flank streaking is preferred. So we've talked about the maturity, we've talked about flank streaking, and then the third component is just to look at the conformation of the carcass, and that's the width as compared to the length. Those that are wider and thicker relative to their length are higher conforming, but we put more emphasis on this flank streaking and certainly on the maturity than we do with the conformation. Collectively, this carcass would probably be low choice to average choice. Yield grade for a lamb carcass is only driven by how much fat that it has, and this would be probably a yield grade 1 lamb carcass. It's very trim and well muscled. USDA beef quality grades are very important as to ultimately merchandising products as it associates with their value both domestically and internationally. And so how that works, the USDA comes in, they're a third party which applies the grades and standards for the grades of beef carcasses and applies them to, let's say, at a beef processing facility, and then those grades relative to the supply and demand indicate their ultimate value of those carcasses. So we just wanted to show you here, we'll predominantly do this with slides, but we did want to show you that these carcasses here, when we think about quality grades, again, they're not going to tell, the animals aren't going to tell us how old they are. So what we use to indicate differences in maturity is how much of this cartilage has changed into bone. And as you look here, these cartilaginous buttons that we see here all along these thoracic vertebrae, it's still entirely cartilage. As we become older, that cartilage will change into bone. It will change into skeleton. So we take that, combined with the amount of fat that we see here within the muscle, or marbling, and that's how we come up with USDA quality grades. So this would be an average choice USDA average choice beef carcass. As it looks, got fine marbling distribution there, and it's very youthful in its color. Looks like high quality meat.